received a job description from HR, as you can imagine, but we all know that it's living day to day when you know what you reach out to the reception desk to answer for you or to do for you, things that never get in a written job description. Things like she keeps track of the lost and found. And she has the blank forms for when you're going to be absent from the community and lots of little things like that. And as she gets to know us better, she'll be offering that to us. Like she'll hear us walking by her desk talking about the vacation that we're going to go on, and she'll say, remember that I have those forms that you're ready to fill out when you know that you're going to be gone. She's going to be able to second guess our needs as she gets to know us better. So 2 things. First of all, please give her time to learn and do that. And remember that it takes us 5 times of hearing something before we remember it. And she's younger than we are, so maybe only 3 times will do it for her. But she needs to have the time to be able to be reminded of what we would like. And then secondly, Missy, our new assistant executive director, has offered to collect these ideas and thoughts that we have that might not be in the written job description. So in the past, the receptionist has done something for you that might not be in the written job description, but that you'd like to have her attuned to doing as she gets to know us better, send it to Missy in her email. I put her email address up here, but it's also on the app. She'll collect from all of us and then curate that information, do away with duplications, and be aware of the things that may have been assigned to somebody else. For example,
Sorry.
are you still recording?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to let him go from this
We
thing.
were used to giving the birthday cards to the
Sorry.
receptionist to be delivered. That task has now been assigned to Lifestyle and to Lucy. So you can still drop them over there if it's convenient for you, but that's where they are going to go to be distributed. But you don't know this until you have lived through that. So anything that you would like to be sure the receptionist will be doing for you, you can let Missy know, and Missy will pass it on. And even some of those things may become part of the actual job description that HR hands out. Jim told me that this morning. So please feel free to do that. And remember, if you tell somebody something, there's not a great chance that it's actually going to happen. But if you write it down and send it to the person who's in charge of making it work, it will probably happen. So please think through your past experiences at the reception desk, like when we know that we're going to the Lunacy Alpaca Farm, I would love for that to be pointed out to me the minute anybody knows, because that's special to me. And you have other things that are special to you too. So she will happily do that if she knows what it is. So lastly, I would say, let's grant her grace and give her time to grow into the position, because this is only her 3rd day doing it. Questions?
Has Missy been replaced at the Oaks?
No, they have been, that's a great question. They have been interviewing health center directors and have not yet found the good fit that they're looking for. And so Missy's office is still over there, and she's doing double duty while they continue to look for a health center administrator. Anything else? Yes. Then, your residence council acted last week to approve the appointment of some of the appointed chairmen. These are not ones that are elected by the resident body, but are appointed by the resident council chair and then approved by the council itself. So I want to read these names, and also, if you are here, would you stand up so people can recognize you? I didn't warn them of this, so they may not all be here. So, we'll start with, Joy is continuing at bylaws and standing rules, which is a great blessing, and I'm very appreciative. Carolyn Tolles, who was elections chair this year, asked not to be reappointed and suggested Sarah Parham as a committee member who she thought would do a good job, and Sarah has agreed to that. Stan will continue in electronic communications. Looked like I have a typo of his name, but we all know who he is, right? It's not GPLD Stein. Oh, here comes Sarah. So wave at him, Sarah. I just announced you. There she is. Okay. Stan also is headed for a doctor's appointment, but he's always here in the spirit. Ann Blair is going to continue as historian. She's here in front waving. Dee Willett is going to continue at the library. And you recall last fall that we appointed Debbie McAmer as the Sable Point Community Services Association rep for us. So all those people are in place, and another slide's worth right here. There. Jerry Evans is going to continue at Team Member Appreciation Fund, and Basil is the chair of the FLICRA group, Florida Life Care Residents Association. And then here are two that are selected not by Residents Council, but they are in our circle of appointed committee chairman, and that's Ann Blair continues as Foundation Advisory Committee chairman, and Salim Ayub is the Brady Wilkins Scholarship chair, and he's waving over here. Okay. Let me check my notes. Two things. First of all, in addition to welcoming Desiree at the reception desk, I want to be sure everyone is aware of the promotion of Crystal to be the dining room manager alongside Orlando, and reporting to Liz. So this is the replacement for Kai, who has gone on to be a restaurant manager at a restaurant down near the Lake Nona area. So a nice transition for her, a nice promotion for her. And Crystal, as you are aware, is very aware of all of us. She's been in the kind of receptionist role there, and she now is promoted to dining room manager. So you can congratulate her as well. That announcement was in the Green Horizons for this month, and I'm sure Desiree's information will be in the February Green Horizons. The other thing I want to be sure that you know is that beginning last November and December, we are posting the agenda for the Residents Council meetings so that all residents are aware of what will be discussed at these meetings. It's posted on the Uniguest app at the Residents Council tab. And it is posted 4 days ahead of the meeting, so usually Monday, with our meeting on Thursday, which is what by bylaws we are required to give 4 days notice, and that's how much notice. That's when the agenda goes out to all resident council members. So all residents will have access to it at the same time residents council members do. And except for holiday times, residents council meets on the first Thursday of every month at 10 o'clock in the morning in the multipurpose room. And we welcome guests. You may be receiving the minutes of the Residents Council meeting by forward through your building representative, and I want to let you know, if you haven't seen them yet, that they look different than they did last year because we are trying a new tool. We have used AI, artificial intelligence, to create these minutes. Well, that's scary because on the news you hear people are falling into a black hole and they're using AI. They think that it's a person and they're making a personal relationship with this computer, and it's very scary. But we have discovered a way to use it as a tool. So the way it works for us, and we have tried this now with 2 sets of meetings, is that the meeting is recorded and then copied into, it's either recorded directly into this app or copied and pasted into this app. And it turns the words, the spoken words, into written text, which then Lynn and I, and Susan holding our hand because she's more confident at it than we are, read through it, delete the things that are not appropriate, change the spacing around so that it follows the same order of the agenda that we spoke. So we curate it, just like Diane and I curated the written minutes last year, and then send out the form, its final form. And what it does as a tool is save us from having to type all those words and to listen. Diana would listen to the recording as much as 6 hours to turn that into written word. And AI can do that in seconds. And then we're able to edit it just like we were before. So it'll look a little different. Next month it'll look even a little more different because we're getting better and better at it. But we're wanting to let you know that that's what's going on. We're trying to step into the 21st century here with technology. Fred?
Is that what Lucy's doing here?
Yeah.
Yes,
Just a minute. What's the question?
is that what Lucy's doing here?
No,
No.
Lucy is recording what I'm saying from the podium and the slides, which are then put on the app also, so that you can see it there. Now, this will not turn into written text. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. Here we go. You might recall last year that we had a Florida civics lesson, and it's time to bring it up again. For some of you, this will be a refresher of what you already know. For some of you, if you are a new resident that is coming to one of your first all resident meetings, this might be brand new to you. The Florida legislature is made up of a Florida Senate with 40 members and a Florida House of Representatives with 120 members, similar to the federal government with a Senate and a House of Representatives with more members in the House than there are in the Senate, representing smaller groups of Florida people. These are the bodies that vote on the statutes or laws that govern all aspects of life in Florida. The one that's of greatest interest to us is Statute Title 37, which speaks to all insurance. And within it is Chapter 651, which is the section which deals with continuing care contracts and CCRCs, continuing care residential communities, of which Village on the Green is one. Among the topics that are covered in this document, and as I recall, Basil, the chapter is about 125 pages long, but the section that's of greatest interest to us are those that describe our rights and our protections as CCRC residents that we are entitled to under Florida law. Florida has one of the strongest protections of all of the states. I think we're in the top 3 where this kind of protection is encoded in the law to protect us. Okay. The Office of Insurance Regulation is the department of Florida government that's charged with administering and enforcing these provisions of Chapter 651. It reports to the chief financial officer, who is one of the cabinet members that works with the governor and is also a person who is elected. So who's watching this for us? And it is the Florida Life Care Residents Association, also called FLICRA. This is a body that watches the laws and the government and propose changes to the laws and implementation of those, similar to the way that AARP does that for citizens over 50 or 55, over 50 at the federal level. So this is a group that's watching what's going on related just to CCRC residents at the Florida level. This is the only organization in Florida founded by, run by, and exclusively devoted to serving our interests as and protecting our financial investment as CCRC residents. Follow the money. It's all about the money, and we need, and we're glad to have somebody watching it. FLICRA does this by working with the state legislature to strengthen the laws that serve and protect us. Mostly those are in Chapter 651. What has FLICRA done for us? In its history, about 30 years, I think, in place, has secured many changes to Florida law that have saved us money every year. The first one that comes to my mind, we saw on our December bills, and that was the passage of the homestead exemption equivalent, which allows us as residents in property that we don't really own, but that we don't rent either. We're kind of a gray area there, but we are able to claim homestead exemption on our taxes every year. And if you were here in January last year, and if you signed the form, which commits isn't the word, which agrees that you were living here then on the first of the year, you received this credit on your December bill. I don't know how big yours was, but mine was in the $300 to $400 range, and that's a nice plus in December. That's because of the efforts of FLICRA to get that written into Chapter 651. Another one is that they worked to pass the sales tax exemption on meals. The original intent was that you would pay sales tax on your meals that you ate here in the dining room. And we do not have to do that. We don't have to use any of our 600 points for that. And if you are still occasionally being charged tax on liquor, you need to go to Liz to get that corrected. She showed me a list of about 200 wines that come through here over time, and she has to correct the charge on each and every one to make sure that it comes out with zeros on the end instead of fractions of money like 16 cents and things like that. So if that happens to you, even if you have drunk that wine in the past and not been charged for it, and now you are charged for it, every time a new inventory comes in, she has to check it as well. So there's correction for this problem if it happens to you. They're not lagging on their job. They just need to be pointed out if there's a correction that needs to be made. Okay. And finally, of the special things I want to mention for FLICRA's accomplishments, that they defeated the bed tax on the nursing beds at CCRC, so we do not pay a separate bed tax for the beds that are in the Oaks. So another financial protection for us. Okay, so you can see that FLICRA has worked well on our behalf in the past and continues to do so. We have a FLICRA committee here of about 10 or 12 members that are working diligently to help support FLICRA's efforts and to keep you aware of them. So here's where we're going in 2026. The legislative calendar is the same one that I showed you back in December that Basil provided for us. The session opens next week on the 13th and will run for 2 months till March the 13th. This is early because it's an election year. Usually it goes March and April, and now this time it goes January and March. The time for filing bills is rapidly coming to an end. It will happen by the end of the week, To the best of our knowledge, nothing has been filed yet related to Chapter 651, but we know it's coming. So we haven't seen it yet, but we know that the Office of Insurance Regulation proposed a bill last year that got into committee and out of one committee, but didn't go any farther. And they are planning to propose another one, or re-entrance of that one. And also FLICRA and Leading Age, which is the lobbying group for the providers like LifeSpace, have been working toward a bill that might also be provided. So as soon as we know what those are, we can go forward in providing our support. There will be a FLICRA event here on Friday, January 23rd, which I really want to bring to your attention. We're bringing here, the FLICRA committee is bringing here, the FLICRA executive director, who is Bennett Napier, who is based in Tallahassee. So he is coming to give a presentation here on our campus. His title is Citizen Engagement in the Legislative Process. There'll be time for questions and answers, and by then, which is about 10 days into the legislative session, he'll know exactly what bills have been filed and what we might do to be able to support them. Last year, when I had this question to all of you, 65 of you gave me your email addresses and said yes, that you would send an email in support to one or more legislators. That's the kind of thing we may be asking from you again, or something else. I haven't heard Bennett's presentation, so it may be that there are more things that he can suggest for us to do. Maybe we need to fill the bus and go to Tallahassee and stand in the Capitol. Who knows? But these are the kinds of things that Bennett will help us with, and he'll know what the bills are that we might support. Joy, do you have a question?
Yeah, what time, and is it in the Longwood Room?
Okay, 1:30. We have just learned this morning. Is it 1:30, from 1:30 until 2:30?
And in here?
It will be here in the Longwood Room, and we will continue to promote it for the next 16 days. And we're asking building reps to promote it at their buildings as well. In your building meetings, maybe one of Joy's wonderful posters on a bulletin board, something like that. But
Roy's already been in touch with me.
bringing someone like this from the outside, it would be very wonderful if we could fill this room. So think about putting that on the calendar right now if you can, and realize that it's all about the money. We want to protect our investment, and the stronger that we can build that protection framework, the better. Other questions besides that? Anybody? Okay, wonderful. Well, the next is the report from Health and Wellness. So Lynn, would you come on up?
Thank you.
And that's what's on the screen behind you, so you don't have to turn around.
Perfect. Well, Thank you for entrusting me into this chairmanship that I sort of fell into, but I'm excited to do it. I think that we have a lot here with health and wellness that's always advertised in the green horizons, but we need to go ahead and advertise even more, because part of health and wellness is part of who we are and what we do. And we think it's only at the Oaks, but it's not. It's a combination. It's what we bring across over here to our residents. And so there's a few things I want to tell you about, all right, and reinforce. And again, it's in the green horizons, so you can see that, and it'll be always noted. First of all, I have some subcommittees. Friends of the Oaks is Fred. Paul is taking care of that. And that's a really important thing. Anybody that wants to do any volunteers and go over to the Oaks, please contact him and help do that. That's very, very important. We also have bereavement support, which is important, and caregiver support and breast support groups. You know, sometimes we forget about how important these support groups are, and to please avail yourselves of those. There's another third thing that I found out that's happening, and that is on January 13th, Thrive Behavioral Health is going to hold a clinic. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to have therapists there. So if anybody feels that you need to or would like to avail yourself of some therapeutic counseling sessions, you need to contact LifeSpace and make an appointment. If you're not aware, I'll make you aware. Medicare pays for therapy. So it doesn't come out of your pocket, you know, but it is paid for through our insurance, through Medicare. And if you're having any issues, any unhappiness, any depression, any area that you're having difficulty coping with, this is a group that is very, very competent and can help you with it. If you feel that you don't want to contact them, contact me, and I can give you some names of therapists in the community. It's very important for us not to isolate, but to feel valuable in the life that we have left. I'm not being morose, but we only have this amount of time, okay? But it is, okay. Also, not to forget that we have Wellness Wednesdays. Really important. In fact, today we're going to do it mindfulness. We're going to work on some succulents, find out about mindfulness. All these things are great. Besides physically taking care of ourselves, we have to emotionally take care of ourselves. And there's something else that I wrote here. What did I write here? Oh, don't forget, this is another aside, transportation to doctors. We get to go to the doctors and they get to provide transportation for us. What a wonderful thing. Also, don't forget that we have PT here, physical therapy. If you need to have physical therapy, it's right across the street, and you can go ahead and have that. Another really important service that we bring is the personal services, pet care, okay, laundry care, extra help in your apartment. So think about that. These are all available to us where we can stay here healthy physically and healthy emotionally. Thank you, and contact me if you need anything. Oh, and we're going to start our first meeting. It's going to be January 21st. I have a very full committee, those who have served before and a few who want to do it again, but anybody that would like to sit on this committee, please contact me. I'd love to have you on it. That's it. Question from Nancy?
I
Nancy,
wonder if you would share your background with us.
my background? Oh, my background. I'm a forensic psychologist. I had a practice starting in 1988. I started to work in the field in 1982. I'm a psychotherapist. Again, I focused in forensic psychology. I worked with attorneys, both plaintiff and the other side, the insurance side, and I worked with all kinds of people and working on moving them into their lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I had an agency that I worked with my daughter for 25 years, and I retired in 2017. Thank you. You know, I'm pretty good.
And to have her willing to take on this role because she's a relatively new resident. In the Green Horizons, the Wellness Wednesday is listed at 11 o'clock, but they have moved it to 11:30 to accommodate our meeting. So as soon as you're finished, walk down the hall to the multipurpose room and there'll be mindfulness going on down there. Plant operations. It's here too, so you don't have to print it out.
Good morning. I'm not a therapist. However, I feel like one sometimes. Let me get straight on a few of the issues that have come up recently. The finishing of the clubhouse. I remember back in March, somebody said to me, "When do you think it's going to be done?" And I said, "Merry Christmas." And everybody laughed and said, "It can't be that long." Well, it's longer than hopefully before 2026, Merry Christmas. We still have work to do. There's a punch list that needs to be done, a punch list of work yet to be done. The major issue that I see right now is not the clock coming or all that stuff. Be careful walking on the sidewalk. I put out an email the day before Christmas on the 24th, alerting all the people that the handicap area, there is a sidewalk, and especially at night, and we're going to add more lights. However, we are all getting to the point our vision may be a little bit different, so be damn careful if you park in a handicap and come down that curb. So be absolutely, we don't need any more falls. The clubhouse entrance grand opening is at 3 o'clock, January the 25th. That was, I think that was in the Green Horizon. But yeah, it is a Sunday, and hopefully by that time we will have everything completed. I doubt it, but I hope it will happen. Okay. Another issue, a rumor mill. Another rumor came up that the surveying behind the clubhouse and building D and DE, there is all kinds of work surveying it. They look at the trees, they look at the wetlands, they look at the land. This is all for the sports complex that is going to actually happen sometime this year. I'm not telling you when, I'm not guessing. The only thing I can tell you, we learned yesterday in the meeting, that the pickleball courts that everybody is so looking forward to will not occur in the first process of the work. It will be held off until later on, pushed out a little bit. We may decide to move that somewhere else, who knows. But to let you know, we're not cutting down trees, we're not doing things that we shouldn't be doing. We are just having this survey done. And lastly, that's it. Any questions? Yes, neighbor.
I just will put in a plug for an entrance, garbage can, not garbage can, but something more attractive. Instead of waiting till the 25th, I think it's needed now at the entrance.
A what?
Trash can.
Trash can.
Okay. Okay. We'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Other than that, Lenny's got about 4,000 jobs going on at the same time. And again, Sandy's back, so call in your maintenance issues, call once, don't call twice, call once. And we will do the best we can. We're short one maintenance person, and they're off trying to find one that's, that we
Good
can
fit.
use. Yes, ma'am?
Steve, when I was out there the other day, there are some trees out in front, or behind, D and E that have got ribbons around them. What are those for?
I just said, it's part of the survey.
That's okay, that they're not,
There's
Okay, that's
no-
what I wanted to
there's
hear.
nothing-
Thank
don't worry about it.
thank you.
Thank you. What the survey people are doing is drawing a complete picture of what's out there. And there's little orange spots on the sidewalk and in the grass, and those are way markers for them to do the measurements from. And when they complete this, then we can see what areas are available to build on and what are not. The St. John's River Water Management District will have a lot to say about what is available to be built on, because this is all part of the Wekiva watershed. So this drawing is as accurate as possible for them to review and for Seminole County Permitting to review before we ever can place in the drawing what we want to have where. And what was described to me about the ribbons on the trees is that let the person doing the survey who's drawing the picture know that that particular tree had been drawn on his survey. So that when it was all done, he could look around and make sure that he didn't have any unmarked trees that he had forgotten to draw on the survey plot. Because we're all worried. Please don't take our trees. But we are way ahead of any of those decisions being made. The first thing is to draw the picture, and that's what's going on. Now we're ready for lifestyle. All the fun stuff. Richard and Phyllis are coming to tell us everything that's going on coming up in January. I have taken a couple things off of the list which we have already talked about. You may note of those.
Good morning. As you know, Phyllis and I are dual chair of the Lifestyle Committee, and I ask the members of the Lifestyle Committee please stand. Don't be shy. These dedicated neighbors are our lifestyle ambassadors. They will help publicize our events, and they're interested in hearing your feedback and suggestions for our programs as we move forward in the year. And the idea is, as ambassadors, we adopt the programs that Lifestyle promotes and helps to make these events known, so that we gain participation throughout the community. Looking forward to February, February 11th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, thanks to our ambassador, Bernie Newman, we will introduce a monthly lecture series. The speakers will be primarily retired Rollins professors who will entertain us with unique and educational topics. The first speaker will be Professor Saki O'Sullivan. He will introduce us to Florida detective novels in a most unique and interesting way. So expect adventure, comedy, mystery, and romance. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first thing I want to mention is the monthly preview of lifestyle events, which will be presented by Maurice the first weekday of each month at 2 o'clock. So she will lay out all of that for you. There is an afternoon tea today, January 7th at 3:30. introducing something new. Stan Goldstein is going to promote a veterans social, which will be a chance for vets to get together. And the first will be Thursday, January 8th at 2 o'clock. This week, we will be entertained by the Sherrod Brothers on Friday, January 9th at 6:30. They are a gospel singing group. Our friend and neighbor Bill Stahl will give a Journey of Life program January 21st at 3. And one of our new residents, Jean Cross, is going to introduce us to the ukulele 101 with possible lessons on January 22nd at 2. Another new event is going to be Jeopardy, which we've all seen and loved, and that's going to be January 22nd at 4. And we're going to have a Tribute to Life Monday, January 26th at 11, which will be a remembrance of all those Village on the Green friends who've passed in 2025. There will be another Remembrance Day. This is the Holocaust Remembrance Day, Tuesday, January 27th at 2. And Reverend Tom, who's been doing his religion series, his World Religions program, his next area will be Buddhism, Wednesday, January 28th at 3 o'clock. So please make yourselves aware and attend those.
And there's more. At 3 o'clock today, Milt is going to introduce us to the possibility of pottery, Pottery 101. So if you have any interest in learning more about pottery or sculpture kinds of stuff, working with clay, be here at 3.
Where is that gonna be at?
Multi-purpose room.
Multi-purpose room.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you can imagine, there are many more activities than we can talk about up here and take time to tell you about. The Green Horizons is chock full of stuff, so please take the time to read it and mark the things you want to do. So much stuff. So read it, then put it down, then come back later and read it again, because you'll spot something that you haven't seen. So please make good use of this. The Sherrod Brothers on Friday night. This is something different for us to have entertainment after dinner on Fridays. So put this on your calendar. Don't forget it, because it's something new. This is a group that has performed nationally. They are based in Tennessee. They've performed at Graceland and at Dollywood, which is where the very best music is, in case you want to know. And so they will be here, and again, it would be wonderful for us to fill the room. Make your dinner reservations so that you can get over here by 6:30 and enjoy them. The other thing I want to point out is the monthly preview. It happened on Monday this week, and was a wonderful review of everything that's in here. The opportunity to ask questions and things like that. There were maybe 5 of us in here, so you could learn a lot if you put this on your calendar and watch for it in either the weekly update or the next Green Horizons, and come on in, and in a half an hour she covered everything in great detail, including the things that have to be signed up, the things that cost, the things that are free. So it's definitely worth a half hour of your time to come in and do that. One other thing I want to point out, and then I'm going to adjourn early, Mr. Gus. Unusual. This was in your Green Horizons. I hope you found it, and I hope that you didn't put it straight in the trash, but that you take the time to read it. This is the Flecker newsletter. It comes out quarterly. It's available online in case you did throw it away, but it is delivered to us, with the Green Horizons. And some of the information in it indicates to me what's liable to be in the OIR recommendations, the bill that's coming. So it's worth reading about what they're talking about as far as the nursing staff minimum number of patients per health caregiver, and also talks about some trends in advocacy, in consumerism, related to senior living. So it's worth taking a look at. Please do. The cover letter is the president's message from the new president. So he will tell you about his background, the things that he's done, and his goals and hopes for FLACRA statewide this year. So don't overlook this. Are there any questions or comments? 1 minute. Yes, Barbara?
What is the status of the purchase of property around here?
Steve, do you want to speak to that? The question is about what's the status of the purchase of the additional 7 acres, is it?
If you're talking about the property that we bought, recently, is that what you're saying, asking?
That
But-
and the rumored,
And
Yeah.
the second part of it is 2 buildings on Wakanda.
yeah.
I'm really not allowed to say it, if I do it. No, the closing on those 2 buildings were scheduled for yesterday, the day before, Monday, excuse me. I do not know whether or not it closed, I really don't, but it was scheduled for Monday. And those 2 buildings will be used sometime in the very distant future for apartments. It will be beyond school apartments. Each of the buildings has approximately 70,000 square feet. So they're not small. That's where the DMV was. It's
So
currently-
these are buildings that are on the acreage that we have purchased.
No.
Question? No.
No. If you, it's.
All right, so let's start with the acreage we purchased. That is complete. Those 7 acres, those 7 acres have been purchased.
That's
Okay.
right.
Where are these 2 buildings that you are talking about?
They are.
And I know nobody can hear but me,
You
so,
know, Clyde Springs Boulevard, you know where the new Mexican,
yes, yes.
Mexican
Where
restaurant.
Frida's
There's
is.
2 buildings right there. They're
There's-
almost identical. And those are the 2 buildings that were up for sale. And from my understanding, the corporation decided that it was going to be a great investment.
How are we gonna use those buildings?
I'm sorry?
How are we gonna use those buildings?
I'm sure that is yet to
Is
be
it just
determined.
investment, or is it something that we will use here?
You'll have to ask that.
And you're saying that they were supposed to close on those yesterday, but we don't know if, Monday, but we don't know if the closing is actually occurred. So stay tuned for the February plant ops meeting and then also the February residents council when we'll know more.
We may know when we have the town hall.
True, Jim has town hall coming up in a couple of weeks and that's, you know, the best place to ask him because he's the one that knows. What we would tell you, we're getting secondhand from him. So we will have a chance to ask him about that and lots of things at the town hall. Barbara?
So what, is there a decided plan for the buildings that we purchased? I mean, do we know what they're gonna do with that?
That's what I just asked.
The one that we purchased, there's one that's completed, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They're
what,
gonna get away, they're gonna do away with that.
that's my question.
Yes, they're gonna do away with it.
And do what?
Build
Build villas.
somewhere between 40 and 50 villas. That's the intent. It may be, after you and I are no longer around.
Speak for yourself.
Other questions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.